choice is in the story we tell us.
Yes.
This thing is an empowerment tool because we get to choose the stories we tell ourselves at any given moment.
Welcome to Wild and Finally Fucking Free, the show for disruptors, rebels, and revolutionaries who know they're here to change the damn world. I'm Kylie Patchett, your voice and visibility catalyst, and here we dive into unapologetic truth, magnetic messaging, and visibility that actually feels good in your body, your bones, and your business. We share the stories of the out-of-the-box, neuro-sparkly, creative, witchy wild ones, rewriting how we live, love, learn, and lead. This isn't about being louder. It's about being rooted, resonant, and regulated so you can be real, raw, and ready to roar. If you're done contorting yourself to fit the mold and you're ready to own your voice, your power, and your place in the revolution, welcome home. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. This is part 2 of a 2-part episode with my beautiful friend, Etai and Nahary, who is a intuitive human design guide. In this episode, we dive into so many different facets of Etai's love of language, narrative psychology, storytelling, using the human design chart to actually inform us of how we move through the world. So if you haven't listened to part 1, go backwards and listen to the first part, and let's dive into part 2.
And since then, there has been Ra, and there has been Karen Curry Parker, and there has been any number of different filters, and each teacher and each reading is a filter of the material, right? And there have been endless, thank God, filters of people looking at her. And Karen Curry Parker had such a strong aversion to the language of original human design. She said, what?
I can't do it.
I'm going and I'm making my own language.
100%.
And out of this came the quantum human design.
Yes.
And Annalena learned from Karen. And then taught us. So we are in that lineage, right? And so that's, I don't know where I was going with this, but
it's the evolution of human design.
Everything evolves. If it doesn't evolve and it doesn't change and it doesn't move, it's not alive.
Well,
it's not alive. And human design is a living thing.
Exactly.
It's a living system.
And so, I think too, when you see the chart with all the threads that you bring to it, so your love of storytelling, your internal, like one of the things that fascinates me about the way that your brain works is that you're able to almost pick something up and see all these different perspectives and wonder about things. And this is why we love chatting together, because your wondering then is like a popcorn of my wondering. And then I'm like, have you ever thought about this? And it's deeply satisfying to meet someone else who wants to play in the depths, I think, of the human experience. And through the lens of, and I have to say too, like when you started talking, like I was sharing with you about that I had been working with a narrative psychologist, and I was talking like you wouldn't know what narrative psychology is because most people don't. And then I'm like, of course you do. You've already done a bloody degree in this.
Sure. And narrative therapy was when toward the end of the coursework, they're like, you should really start thinking about how you want to work and what's your theoretical orientation. And immediately somehow narrative therapy, and we had to write a thesis in completion of the degree, and we had to bring in theoretical elements into this, and narrative therapy was the theoretical element that I brought into it. So narrative therapy always resonated with me.
Yeah. I think for me, because I've shared about this on the podcast before, when I hit on my 47th birthday, I feel like a tsunami of trauma that I had not allowed out from under the cover. And the blessing of menopause is that you have less bandwidth to be able to cope the ways that you have unhealthily been coping with trauma.
Less filters, thank God.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was forced to go and get some help because I literally thought I was having a psychotic break at one stage. And
No, what you were having was a Chiron return, or the
yes,
beginning of a Chiron
exactly.
return.
In the gate of shock, Etai.
Of course you were. Of course you were. Of course you were.
Was the blessing. Sorry, you go.
Now this is interesting
Yep.
because you'll say, look, Chiron return happens 50. You look at genetic matrix and you say, when is a Chiron return? And it'll tell you.
A date, yes. But
Date. But the energy of the Chiron return, and I swear to God, I think I'm in mine now.
yes, you will be. You would be.
The energy of, because the things are shifting. The energy of the Chiron return can go anywhere from, and it depends for everybody. Everybody feels the energy differently.
Yes.
So when you say, I had what I thought was a psychotic break, and everything was, no, you're having a Chiron return. It's normal.
It's the pattern of your life, right? We're meant to be evolving. And if you don't have these things come to the surface to be consciously aware of, you don't get to evolve.
And hang on. Do you see what we did? Do you see what we did? You said I had a psychotic break. And I said, no, you didn't. You had a Chiron return.
You rewrote the story using the knowledge of the... Yes. Yeah.
Different, more empowering story. It normalizes it. It empowers you. We start to learn, what does it mean, a Chiron return? Oh, it means I have now all this power and all this wisdom and you as a 6-2, you're flowering now.
Yes.
This is you in your, I love this for you.
Yeah.
And a 6-2 manifestor flowering like this is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
If only you knew me then, Etai, because you could have saved me lots of emotional pain. But this is where we're going with using a chart like this, right? Is like, rather than telling yourself a disempowering story like I'm having a psychotic break, or
which is certainly a story you can tell.
Yes, absolutely. And I was very strongly. I was like, there is something seriously wrong with my head. But the reality is I was being given a chance to look at one of my core wounds around being not seen as a kid, and actually working with a narrative psychologist and also my friend Sarah Brooke, who I've spoken about before on this podcast, who's a energy healer who works through the womb as the access point. So we were doing generational repatterning and
wow.
I know, amazing. And I had this.
You were probably dealing with your SQ in the gene keys, weren't you?
Probably. I don't know enough about you.
Except you were probably doing it at the time through tropical. We'll forgive you.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But one of the things that combination gave me, and it's so funny because we were reading how we were talking about the light code wrapping around the DNA strand. So I had a moment in a session with Sarah. I'd been working with a narrative psychologist, a lot of it around having a parent with addiction issues and feeling safe as a kid and whatnot. Deep stuff that I had never allowed to come to the surface because I was like, if I do, I'm going to die. Like it won't be able to cope.
Everything is going to go. Yeah. The world is going to explode.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. But the blessing was in a session that I had with Sarah. I was talking about at the time I was doing done for you storytelling work for clients. So I was helping them to pull out the golden threads like you've just shared and turn it into magnetic copy on their websites and to talk about their services and why they do what they do, right?
And you do this so well. It's incredible.
Just something I do because I love people's stories like you. I love our self stories. I love the stories of how we came here, our family of origin stories, our cultural stories, all of those things.
Oh, but you see, this is your zone of genius.
Yes, it's definitely storytelling. Well, capturing people's magic through words is definitely one thing.
The projector recognizes you. Say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had this moment in a healing session where I saw in my mind's eye, like all of my ancestors around me. And I saw this, the helix of DNA, which is like a ladder that's been twisted, right? And the ladder untwisted itself and the two strands parted. And then this golden thread laced through, and all of these little kind of dark spots just were rewoven, and then I saw it go back together. And when I came out of that meditation, Sarah actually said something that stayed with me for so long, and it's a perfect example of narrative, like changing the narrative. She said, isn't it interesting that the thing that is your genius now comes directly from what you didn't receive as a kid? because something that my clients always say to me is, I've never felt so seen before. And my biggest void as a kid was not feeling seen.
Well,
It's like,
and that makes all the sense in the world,
yeah,
both psychologically.
yes,
I mean, that's the Chiron movement, right? And if you look at a Jewel Keys chart,
yes,
people will see that the core, that what is the core movement becomes the vocation.
yes, yep. It's
So,
the two sides of the same coin, right?
absolutely.
Amazing. Coming back to your example with the 5342, I really want people to understand that when they come to you for readings, that you will help them to understand, because I think it is the human.
Exploration,
Yes,
explore together.
explorations. Exactly. And it is
Language is important.
yes, this is another thing that we bond over, the love of language. Only one for me, just trucker Australian English.
No, language is important because language, and again, here is I was raised Jewish, and like I said, I wanted to be a rabbi. One of my first reference points, and thank God I don't use it this way, but one of my first reference points will always be the Bible.
Yes.
And Jews tend to put a focus on what most of the world calls the Old Testament, although I've read both cover to cover several times. But you look at Genesis, God created the world through words.
Yes.
God speaks the world through
Start.
Well, God manifests, right? God manifests. God speaks the world into existence, which shows us the power of words. And God also, by the way, destroyed the world through words. God brings floods, God brings, etc., etc., etc. So words are tremendously powerful. Words are tremendously powerful, tremendously important. Words are frequency, which works beautifully given the fact that the 57 is the most acoustic gene key, gene key in the whole chart. Yeah, words are very, very important.
Yeah. They're spell casting, right? Literally.
Spell casting, right. So the words that we use are very, very important. Yeah. So when I call it an exploration, I mean to say, because you can read a chart and I can read a chart, and you can read the words in the chart and the numbers in the chart. You can see the chart just as well as I can see. But what happens when the two of us sit here and explore the chart together? That I don't know until it happens.
Yeah. Co-creation.
Then we get to play. We get to figure out what do we see? What do we see today?
Yes. Yep.
That's why I call it an exploration, not a reading.
Yeah. And what speaks to you? Because I've seen you do this live where someone's asked a question and you will look at a chart and you'll just be drawn.
When?
Yeah. The inside of you. I asked a question about something. This is a perfect example, actually. I asked a question.
I don't see, the projector doesn't see themselves.
I know the biggest thing for a projector is to see themselves before they, yes.
And you said, I've seen it. And I said, why?
Yeah, because you do this all the time inside of the human design certification. Someone will ask a question and you'll refer to something.
If you say,
yep.
I believe you. Okay, good.
Well, let's give a solid example. In my chart, I have often said to you over the last few, the few months that we've been chatting, and actually very early in the human design training, there was a lot of family stuff going on. So it was like under emotional kind of stress anyway. And I'd shared in the certification that there's this thing that happens in my system where when I'm already under emotional stress, it's like my foot gets stuck on the accelerator and I can't stop. And you helped me to understand that through the defined will center and multiple other ways, but just the way that you could look at so many different parts of the chart and explain parts of what might be actually contributing to that energetic stuck on the accelerator, revving. But where you intuitively went was the will center, and then you helped me. And so we've had this really cool conversation since about, you've helped me to understand in my body that when I'm in my, what I call my scrappy defined will center energy, which almost has a bit of a feeling of the fighter or the, I've got to push against something to get things happening. And so
the will center can burn out real quick.
Yeah, I know. I've done it many times. I've got the t-shirt 58 times to do it. Yeah. And I have I get so frustrated with myself with my own patterns. I always have much more compassion for other people than I do myself. But
and me too. I think it's a feature of being human.
yes, I think so too. But just understanding the difference in energy between like when a will center can be driving for the just to be driving because it's got that drive to drive versus, and that's where I kind of feel now I know the difference in my body, like the scrappy will center drive versus the waiting for the go signal, which is like the divine timing thing.
And you, by the way, have that from the root.
Yeah.
So once the root pulse is on, that goes up into the will center, which by the way, the will center is it's you remember also that think about it. How many? Okay, question. How many?
Go for it.
How many motors in the chart? And those 4 are?
Now you're going to trick me here. So will center, spleen.
Spleen is the awareness center.
Will center, root, sacral, and solar plexus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
I always get the solar plexus and the spleen. Which one, left or right?
Well, they're on either side of the thing.
Of course, it's an awareness. Yes.
And so what happens there is that when you get the pulse from the root, because the root works, the motor centers, generally speaking, work in pulses. I think generally speaking, well, even the sacral does, but the sacral is the only center that really can go and go and go and go, as long as there's a response, physical response. Not an awareness center. It doesn't know what it wants to respond to until it, you want to drink? Yeah, you want to drink? No, all those monkey noises that it makes. But most, and there are moments where the sacral will go out, and that's when the generator types know that they're exhausted, and that's when they rest and they're satisfied. But generally speaking, motors, and I say generally speaking because the ESP is a motor and an awareness center, and it works in waves. But generally speaking, the other motors work in pulses. The root works in a pulse, and you happen to have it. Let's look at your chart. This is the foundation chart. It's your natal, right?
Yeah.
Now the interesting thing is that you don't actually have a connection energetically, usually, from the root to the will, but you do have it. You have it the other way. In other words, you have it, but it's all right. So when your root gets a pulse to do something, what happens energetically for you is that I would think, or I would intuit, and I don't know exactly how this works, but you go and you go on the lap, and there's a from the what is that, the 50? Yeah, that's the 58 to the 18 to the, so there's the pulse.
Etai, just give me a sec. I'm trying to get the chart so that it'll be.
I'm not sure that this theory of mine works, but
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay.
no, but essentially speaking, and there'll always be connections to it, because this is the natal chart. It's not, and the chart will change daily because of transits, so things will be connected. It's very, very possible that what happens with you is that your root pulses on, and then works in such a way through the connections that exist through transit, through to your will center, which is exactly that, which is the will to do things, and then you go and you do.
So I'm just going to point some things because I can point with so if you're new to human design, this is a body graph. There is lots of introductory episodes about human design, which I will link to underneath this.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Please don't feel overwhelmed. But
I
what we're
can do
talking
that.
about is this center here, which is the red one.
I
I'm going
can see
to,
where you're pointing to, but
yeah. Do you want to point?
I no, you point because I have a visual tracking issue.
Okay. So I'm just saying the colored in centers are what's called defined centers, and then the not colored in ones are either undefined or open. But at the moment, we're just talking about this little center here. And when we're talking about the motor centers, what we're talking about is sacral, the root down the bottom, the solar plexus or emotional solar plexus on the right, and then the will. And
Right.
yeah, as we were talking about my kind of getting stuck on the accelerator, we were wondering about the kind of energetics of this and just kind of feeling through it with the chart and making, but using the
Now,
chart as a self inquiry tool.
now you can very easily get stuck on the accelerator, and you do now.
Yeah, all the time.
And why do you why do you think that is? Given what, why do you think that is?
I think there's a couple of things. I think there's a lot of conditioning still for me to clear out about work equaling worth. And I can get very hyper focused thanks to my neurosparkly brain. But also, when I'm in a creative surge, so to me, this is more of a kind of manifestor archetype thing. Like yesterday, I couldn't get into the flow of work. I felt quite flat emotionally. And I was like, what's going on? I've had enough sleep. I've eaten well. Like, there's no kind of like physical requirements, issues with anything, but I felt really flat. And then about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I got this creative surge and I ended up designing 3 entire web pages.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Because, and I'm really learning that I cannot push through. And this is a great gift to me from shifting from the tropical understanding to true sidereal. Because in tropical, I was a generator. And so I feel like I was trying to squish myself into more of a generator archetype, which is that more sort of steadiness of life force energy, as long as you're doing something that is something that lights you up. Whereas with the manifest, I'm really leaning into now, wait until the surge comes and know that when the surge is on, I can get more done in like 3 hours than most people can get done in a week. I just have to wait for it.
And manifestors have to wait for inspiration. Yes. And all of this is wonderful, and all of this backs up exactly what's written, what we see in the chart. Because if we look at your natal chart specifically,
Yeah.
the defined will is here to prove itself.
Yes.
It says, I can do this. Not only I can do this, but I will do this. I can and I will. I can and I will. I can and I will. So it's already predisposed on the one hand to I will. I can. Watch me. You tell me no, you watch me.
Oh my God, that is a huge, you tell that to my parents and they'd be like, she came out like that.
That, my dear, is your defined will. Now, that is predisposition number one. Predisposition number two is that this 2145 that you have.
Yes.
And we talked about the 2149. We talked about the 2145 before. I happen to have it in my tropical mixed, but you have it unconscious.
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means not knowing when you've spent enough time, money, resources, energy on something.
It could mean, again, I want to make sure that this is not a prescription.
No.
One of the things that it could mean, one of the tendencies that an unconscious channel anywhere, a channel colored in red, can have anywhere, is that it's unconscious, right? So it's something that we are not consciously aware of.
Yes.
And it is possible, and in fact probable, that it is something that other people see in us.
Yes.
When we say conscious or unconscious, we're talking about conscious or unconscious from our perspective.
Yes.
From our subjective reality. What other people, and this is why we need other people. We need other people to complete channels for us, etc. But one of the reasons that we need other people, and for me as a single definition, this can be difficult because single definition people like to sort of do things on their own.
Yeah.
Whi-
They're
whi-
very individual.
which works and doesn't work. But
Yes.
but in this case, you don't necessarily need, but it would be helpful for you to have somebody out there who's telling you, Will is in overdrive again because I see it and you don't. Because from your perspective it's unconscious, but I see it in you, and I can gently tell you, Kylie,
Yeah.
this thing is unconscious. Relax.
Yes. Yeah. I'm so grateful for being in connection with you as a friend and being able to reflect these things back to each other. I find that is so helpful. And we were talking about before we started recording, like the majority of channels in the chart are projected channels as
How
well.
many? How many?
22. 22.
That you. Hey,
The 36 are projected channels.
you.
And that to me means, again, this is one of my other things that I don't love about traditional human design, is that when you put people in buckets of you're a manifestor or you're this or you're that, we're trying to sort how many billion people are in the world right now? Like 9?
Last time I checked, it was 8 or 9.
Yeah. So 9 billion people into 5 buckets. Like that to me, even
luck.
when you say that, it makes no sense. There's so
Good luck.
much individual difference in, and even in, like, just say, so you're a 3-6 projector. If we looked at 10 different 3-6 projector charts, they're going to be very, very different.
And not only that, I look at my own chart, and I've had a certain day or something has happened, and oh my God, I have this gate, and this is the transit, and I didn't see the story. But in my own chart that I supposedly know better than anything else, I don't see a story until I meet the story there. Oh, that's why. It's this gate is doing that in this way. Oh,
Like you said,
okay.
it's not an absolute either. It's like, well, this is
Absolutely
what
not.
could happen. The other thing that jumps to my mind.
These things are tendencies.
Yes, exactly. The other thing that jumps to my mind with the 2145 too is that the 21's my unconscious earth. So that has another layer of meaning.
It's your unconscious earth, which means that it's actually here to ground you.
Yes.
It really is here to ground you. It's actually your purpose. It's actually your purpose, Jinky.
Yeah.
So you are here to teach us about. Do you remember the different frequencies of the 21?
No, I don't. And I've only just read them over the weekend. I can't even remember I don't even have my chart in here. Let me just hang on 2 seconds.
Hang on. So you've got in the challenge.
Yes.
In the shadow you have force. Right?
Yeah.
In the gift you have, I believe it's strength, the 21, and lucidity.
I feel like it's control is the shadow, which is very much something that
right. Control. Right?
Control, authority, and valor.
Okay, control. Right. Oh, so where was I getting? Oh, that was a 34. Sorry. Yeah. So control, authority, and so control is exactly. We talk about the shadow of that. Control is exactly what you think. It's this. It's the I'm going to control this.
Yes. I have to make it happen. I have to do it all. I have to drive it.
And what's interesting about the 2145 is the 21 is the gate through which we get resources, through which we acquire the things that we need. Because the 2145, and look, the 2145 is a beautiful channel. It has its purposes. It has its uses. It's a tribal channel. What does a tribal channel do? A tribal channel goes from the 21, from the will to get things, to get resources. And the 45 says, okay, now we have things. We, the tribe, have things. We're not going to distribute the wealth that we have for the tribe for equally. So everybody wins. So we need the 21. We need the 21 to say, this is what I'm going to go get.
Yes.
And I have the authority to go get it, and I'm going to get it, and here I'm going to. So we need this. And once we're in, and just because we say shadow gift, we in any given moment, these are also fluid things.
Very much so.
Nobody gets stuck anywhere. We can move very well, not so easily, but it's possible. I wish easily. Okay, wishful thinking, but it's possible theoretically to move.
Yes.
Let's put it better, between the shadow and to the gift into the city. So it's very possible to go from control into the gift of authority. It's a natural thing. Once what you're getting and for what purpose you're accumulating these resources to get them, then you have the authority. I have a purpose now. My purpose is to go for the tribe, for the good of the tribe. It's a tribal channel, remember.
The other thing that when I was reading the Gene Keys over the weekend that really, really hit home to me is it talks about the shift from hierarchy. So I must be the leader in a certain energy versus synarchy. And synarchy is something that I have long believed in and driven towards. And this is the reason why, like, I've done the work.
You and me both. Yeah. And again, the shadow of the 21 is control. The shadow of the 45 is dominance.
Yeah.
So they play off of each other. They feed each other. And same thing with the other frequencies that get to the city as well. These are all that's they feed off of each other this way. Yeah.
It's so cool, isn't it? Because, and as I'm hearing you talk and we're looking at the different stories here, rather than using human design as a set of rules, using it to understand the way that we're designed to move through the world and you said it so beautifully before, this is one of the things that could contribute to this pattern of behavior or this pattern of moving through the world or whatever. To me, it is just a beautiful empowerment tool to feel into. And like, even with everything that we're saying, as with anyone that you're listening to about any modality, you have to feel it through your own field. Does it resonate with you? Does it not resonate with you? And trusting the pull, because I imagine if I had let myself just be completely turned off by human design because of the dogma, then I would never have arrived at true sidereal human design. And
it's very easy to do that if it's you look and you listen to Ra. On the one hand, he's mesmerizing. I mean, his frequencies. I listen to his lectures and I'm like, oh my God, there's something in his frequency.
Yes.
That completely takes you in. But if that's where you're coming from, and they'll often talk about in traditional human design, they'll talk about no choice. And for somebody like me who has been in a wheelchair his entire life, and I'm going to stop sharing for the moment, who's been in a chair his entire life, and who needs help with the most basic of activities of daily living.
Yeah.
If you're going to sit here and tell me I have no choice, I'm going to tell you, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. Exactly. That is the exact opposite of how I see the world. We're always at choice.
Right.
Always.
And where's the choice? The choice is in, and I've said it before, choice is in the story we tell us.
Yes.
This thing is an empowerment tool because we get to choose the stories we tell ourselves at any given moment.
So cool.
And that's one of the reasons, and we'll do this in another installment. But that's one of the reasons why I want to do the next time we get together. And it's sounding like we will.
Yes.
What I want to do the next time, if it's aligned for us both, is to take a look at is what we're going to do to begin with here. Is to take a look at your transit chart and to say, okay, what's going on now?
Do you want to do a bit of a teaser? Because I think the other thread that I'd like to kind of prelude for our next installment, because I do think we have way too much to say to keep.
We have way too much. Yeah.
Is that
and by the way, thank you everybody for sticking with us up to the point. You guys are amazing and we love you.
We do. And I hope that you're as fascinated by the unfolding of it. Like both, this is why I love talking to people about how they were led to do what they do in the world. Because your golden threads, and I'm always talking to this with clients about writing magnetic copy, is that there is literally probably thousands, if not tens of thousands of human design readers across the planet. And the ones that are for us are the ones that resonate. And so when we are just being our full unapologetic self, as we are just chatting backwards and forwards, as we always do, your beautiful energy is going to resonate with the perfect fit soulmate clients for you and your magic in the world. And for some people, it'll be like, oh yeah, I'll take it or leave it kind of thing. And that's as it should be, because
we're not for everybody. You're not for everybody, but we are for the right people.
Yeah, exactly.
But in order to find out who those right people are, we need to show up.
Yes, we need to show up, and we need to share, and we need to trust.
And that's hard, by the way, but we're doing it anyway.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing is, like, if I go back to my genetics, there's never, ever been and never will be another human exactly the same as you or me or anyone else.
Karen Parker says that each of us are a once in a lifetime cosmic event.
Exactly.
And I love it.
And so
once in a lifetime cosmic event. We need to be here for some reasons. I want to say reasons.
And to me, the chart helps you take a snapshot of what was activating at the time of your birth that can give us some indications of the flavors and the energy and the way that we're meant to move through the world. I think the prelude for me is when you think about human design, particularly if it's a newer system to you, don't just think about this is my birth chart. And I think if you want to just share, do you want to share the transit chart just as a kind of prelude? Because I think most people...
We could.
Sorry.
And while I'm doing that, I want to just double click on a word that you used, which is a snapshot.
Yes.
The chart is...
two snapshots, yes.
Is a snapshot. Let me see if I can... The chart is something a term that I learned from integral psychology. The chart is what I like to say true but partial. That any given chart gives us a snapshot of what the energies were doing at that particular moment that the chart is calculated to show us.
Yes.
In other words, because how do we derive the chart? And I don't know how you're going to edit this so that it makes sense, because we should have really done this at the beginning. But we derive a chart from the day and the month and the year, right? And the place and the precise time of our birth. And so all the chart is going to show us is exactly that. It's a snapshot of what are the energies doing, what is the sky doing, what are the energies doing at that moment. For example, this transit chart, it's a transit chart that we pull, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. This transit chart, if you look, is a transit chart for the date of the 12th of January, 2026. And can I read this? 2249 UTC.
Yeah.
So, and the issue is that the chart, if I were to pull the chart in an hour from now, it might look different. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Because the snapshot is for specifically the 12th of January of 2026 at 2249 UTC.
Yes. And so what we're looking at on the screen, if people aren't oriented to this kind of look, this is from inside of Genetic Matrix. The left-hand side is my body graph snapshot at the time of birth. The right...
This is what we call a natal chart.
Yes, natal chart. The right-hand side is the transit, so what's happening around us in the sky. And when we're talking about true it is...
At this particular moment of the 12th of January. And I keep saying this because it's very important. Snapshot. Right?
Yes.
Snapshot of 12th of January 2026 at 22:49, because at 22:50 it could be a different thing.
Correct. And then the middle is those two charts overlaid.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll talk about, and of course the next time we talk about it, it could be a completely different looking chart. It will be.
Yeah.
You might not be a manager at that point.
Yeah. I know, I'll take it because I'm doing more website creation today, so I'll take the 5 channels. Thanks.
Actually, I misspoke. I said you might not be a manager.
Yes. Yeah.
What I wanted to say, and this is very important because again, language is important. The chart, your foundation chart doesn't change.
Yes.
You are a splenic manifester, a 6-2 splenic manifester. You, because of the transits today at this moment, you could feel the possibility that you could feel like an emotional manager.
Yes.
That does not mean that you are an emotional manager.
Okay.
It means that you could feel, you could theoretically possibly feel like an emotional manager with every one of the bloody centers defined.
Yes, exactly.
How does that feel?
I tell you, the difference between yesterday morning when I woke up feeling really emotionally flat and like I just didn't have any energy and I didn't want to get out of bed, versus this morning, I woke up naturally at 4:45 and I was like, oh, go time, ready. I'm looking forward to Etai's interview, and then I've got this to do and that to do, and I'm creating, because I love design, so I'm creating a few more web pages today. So that feels very exciting. Yesterday, completely different.
And what you have today, at this moment, you have a connection from the root
Yes.
to the ESP, which means that you, for the moment of this chart, have a particular emotional wave,
Yes.
possibly.
Yeah.
So you could be, and then you go from there. You have and by the way, we both have a 40. If you look at it, I have the 40. I think you do too. But it's very, very easy for you, depending on who you're with, for you to have this, and we talked about this before, to have this pulse from the root.
Yes.
That goes into this, I will do this because I'm here to prove myself. I'm here to prove myself because I have a defined will, except I can't see it. Yep. So it's at any given moment, the energies are doing what they're doing. And there's so many important things to remember, but any chart, whether it's astrology, human design, what have you, any tool, at its best, should be used to confirm something that you already know.
Yeah.
If it doesn't resonate, what somebody's telling you about if you don't see yourself in an exploration, in a reading, then leave it. Annalena has this wonderful thing which has become sort of one of my go-to, and I think what I'm going to say. Annalena will say, "Look, take what resonates and leave the rest."
Yeah.
And say the same thing for this conversation. We've been talking now for a very, very long time, saying lots and lots of things. 95% of it could be complete bullshit as far as you're concerned. If 5% of it works for you, take that 5%, and we've done our job. We've served you in that way, right? Whatever doesn't work, leave it. If the chart says nothing to you, if you think this is bullshit, this is nothing. I think I told you about this. I had somebody in LinkedIn ask me, what is human design? What does a human design guy do? I responded to him, and you saw the response. You had a wonderful reaction to it.
Yeah.
His basically was, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what a chakra is. I don't know what maybe I'm in the minority, but thank you for the description.
Yes.
And my response before would have been, well, but now I have to explain to you. Yes. I have to explain, and I'm in the... And what am I doing? And people don't understand. We're not for everybody. And my response was simply, my pleasure.
Yes.
He said, thank you for the description. He asked a question. He helped me to formulate. I had most of the description, but he helped me formulate basically what's going to be on my website once
Yeah.
it's
So
up.
he served you too in the reverse direction.
Right. So he, and all of him, I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know what a chakra is. I don't know what Buddhism is. Okay, you, not my position to teach you.
No.
He said, thank you for the description. I said, my pleasure. He took what resonated, in this case, what didn't resonate.
Yes.
He wanted a description. I gave him a description. He acknowledged I gave him a description. We left. We're done.
And how much more peace do you have not having to try and fill the gap with an explanation?
And not having to, oh my God, I'm people don't understand what I'm saying, and I have to fix, and I have to, and what if people don't understand? The people who are meant to understand
Yes.
are going to understand.
And if they don't, they'll ask questions because they're curious and like that.
Yeah, exactly. So in that way, fine.
Yeah.
I know, and I already had a sense that this particular person wouldn't be interested in, but he asked.
Yes.
So I answered.
Yeah. Exactly.
You ask a projector a question, you're going to get an answer. What we do. That's what we do.
Yeah. I think this is a fabulous, like a final kind of like pulling everything together, because as we've said, like we are uniquely designed. We will resonate with the people that we're meant to resonate with. Our story and the reasoning behind what we do in the world will attract our soulmate clients, and we don't have to work at bending over backwards to please all the people all of the time, because I see that all the time with people's marketing. I'm like, stop that, because you're watering yourself down, and the people that need you and your gifts
don't
want you undiluted.
No, there's one thing that I came to in my process as a disability advocate, which again, it's not that I'm not a disability advocate anymore. I am a disability advocate by necessity. I always will be. I don't exactly know how disability will work its way into all of my offerings that I'm doing, human design related or otherwise. It's just not going to be necessarily a front of the first thing you see.
Yes.
The human design is going to be. But the one conclusion that I've come to, and it's been so liberating for me, is to be able to say the words, it's not me, it's the system.
Yes.
It's not any of us. There is nothing fucking wrong with us. It's the system.
Yep.
And one of the reasons that I can say that now is because of human design.
Yeah. What a bloody gift, Etai. Like,
it's not me. It's just the way I'm designed, and that's supposed to be that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And for all of us, all of the ways and means with which we've been conditioned to believe that our natural way is not the right way in whatever system of oppression, whether, and we've talked about ableism. Like, I would say the education system does that to people. I would say that a lot of families exactly. We are being taught to be cogs in a machine, and what we need to be is individuated geniuses, because that's what we're bloody designed to be. So
we need to be differentiated. It's a science of differentiation for a reason.
Yep.
It's a science of differentiation for a reason, and there is nothing wrong with any of you, the system.
So good. What a bloody joy to start my day with such a juicy conversation. Thank you so much.
So much fun. I look forward to many, many more.
We are going to be doing a series. I don't know what, maybe we'll call them Conversations with Etai. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But
well, you're the manifestor. You tell me.
What? It doesn't even matter. Well, it does from a language perspective. Explorations with Etai. That's what it's going to be. Exploration. Yeah.
Nice alliteration there.
Well, I love an alliteration. You can see my entire.
Of course I do. Of course, this was beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you so much, my friend. Now, again, you can be found on the internet at Intuitive Human Design Guide. And then you said on...
Actually, it's Intuitive HD Guide.
Okay, sorry, Intuitive HD Guide. We will put all the links in the show notes.
Yeah. And once everything comes up, I'll let you when you can...
And we can add everything.
Because the technology is great when it works.
Yes.
At present, is working less well than my ego would like.
It'll come.
I have an undefined ego, so I'm not supposed to prove myself. You, however, are. I know.
I'd like to retire from my defined will center sometimes.
I completely stop burning it out, so you won't want to.
I know, right?
It's that simple and not complicated.
Yeah, I know. Oh, far out. So simple and yet so hard.
It's very complicated.
Can we also, let's in our next conversation talk about, because we talked about in general terms.
Conversation that we record, right?
Yes, that we record because we were always talking. We talked about natal charts. We have previewed connection charts. You also talked about solar returns and Chiron returns. So we might maybe feel into that for our next episode, but we will
actually what? I don't know if you remember, but I offered you.
Yes, you did.
A gift of a solar return.
It's almost my birthday.
I know. So why don't we the next time we meet?
Yeah.
And I'd like for this to be before your birthday.
Okay.
Because that feels like if you're gonna do a solar return chart, it should really be done before.
I do love to have a reading before my birthday every year. That is
not a reading.
Well, no, I know, but like some sort of self-exploration.
But with me, it's not a reading; it's an exploration.
Yes, yeah.
We explore it. So the next time we meet, let's explore your solar return chart.
So cool. Oh,
good,
amazing! Thank you.
That's what everybody can look forward to.
Thank you. Have a good
wonderful. It's been wonderful to see everybody, to hear everybody. And it's been my pleasure.
We'll be back. Don't you worry. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. If this episode lit a fire in your body, in your business, deep down in your bones, please take a moment to drop a rating and review so more rebels just like you can find us. And don't keep this goodness to yourself. Share it with your disruptive rebel and revolutionary friends who are ready to roar right alongside of you. Until next time, stay wild, stay unapologetic, and stay fucking free.